Why Ensley? When I study the history of Birmingham, I notice there are huge gaps, especially when it comes to history of the different neighborhoods and the different communities. When you dive deep into the African American history in Birmingham, there are so few books written about Birmingham's African American history, unless you're talking about the Civil Rights Movement, as if African Americans didn't exist before that period of time. But even when you think about Ensley, there's a huge Italian history that's not recorded. There's a huge Greek history that's not recorded. There's so much that's not recorded. Even the majority of U.S. steel in its history, it has not been shared. So there's so many gaps. There's probably only one or two books that talk about Ensley. There's a few that talk about downtown Ensley and the architecture of the buildings. But what about the people? What about the families? What about all those generations? What about the areas and the places that have been torn down and completely bulldozed? I think it's important to study our history. As many people who have graduated from Holy Family, as many people who have graduated from Ensley High School, from Jackson Olin or Western Olin, there has almost been no books. So little history has been written about Ensley. And it's very concerning, considering Ensley was the largest community in Birmingham once it was annexed into Birmingham. So let's say you are 100 years old and you can speak vividly about your teenage years. That means you can speak vividly about the 1930s. But let's say you are 80 years old. That means you can speak very vividly about the 1950s. So if we didn't record the history for that person that would be 120 today, we have no one who could speak vividly about the 19-teens. And that's how history is lost. In Ensley in particular, there's a lot of history that has never been recorded.